Give me the next 10 minutes and I'll fix your smile. We're gonna go through it one fix at a time. The color, the health of your gums, the shape and proportion of your teeth, the way they all line up, all the way up to the treatment options like veneers or full mouth implants for when the teeth are too far gone. By the end, you'll know exactly what your smile actually needs, what you can fix yourself at home, and what's worth getting in front of a dentist for. I'm a cosmetic dentist in San Antonio, and I've spent more than 15 years treating thousands of patients, figuring out what actually works at each of these steps. Before I start giving you the rules, let me get one thing clear. When someone is unhappy with their smile, they walk into a dentist's office already thinking they know what they want. Veneers, implants, Invisalign, sometimes all three. They think it's their job to know what they need and order it off a menu, the way you would at a restaurant. But under all of that, there are really three things they want answered. What do we actually need? Can I afford it? And can I trust this person doing it? This video answers the first one, because here's the whole point of what I do. You don't have to walk in with the right answer. I'll help you find it. So these 7 principles are what I'd walk you through in the chair so you can actually understand what you're looking at instead of just guessing. So the first thing you can do for your teeth, and almost anyone with teeth is a candidate, is teeth whitening. If you're already happy with how your teeth line up, your gums, and the shape of your teeth, and you just want them whiter and brighter, then whitening is powerful. And I'm not talking about the stuff you buy at the grocery store. I'm talking about custom trays and professional products done the right way. When it's done right, whitening can change your whole look, and it's one of the easiest things we do. I'm not exaggerating when I say we've had life-changing results for patients with whitening alone. But there's a few situations where it won't do the job. If you don't follow the instructions, you're not gonna get the results you want. And some people are just too sensitive for the product to get through it, though honestly, that's pretty rare. It also won't touch anything that's already a crown or a veneer. So if your front teeth are already crowns or veneers, whitening the rest just won't match the color. And here's one thing people get confused about. You absolutely can whiten your teeth with tetracycline staining, the deep gray kind, and I've got the before and after photos to prove it. But if a tooth is dead or it's had a root canal and that discoloration is coming from the inside, regular whitening usually won't fix that one. That typically needs internal bleaching, and that's a job for an endodontist. So color is the first thing I'd sort out, because once your teeth are bright and you're still not happy, now we know the problem isn't the color, it's something else. But before you think about any other procedures, we have to make sure your mouth is actually healthy. And this one is second on my list for a reason. I'm not gonna get into veneers or gum work or Invisalign or any real cosmetic dentistry if someone isn't taking basic care of their teeth. The only exception is a patient getting full mouth implants because we're removing the teeth anyway. Other than that, if you walk in wanting your smile to look better but your gums are inflamed or puffy and red, the honest answer is we sort all that out first. I'm not trying to be ugly about it. A clean, healthy mouth is just the right place to start. The good news is most of this is in your hands, and if you're already making an effort, you're probably fine. Brush, floss, use whatever you actually like a water pick, electric toothbrush. I'm not really picky about brands because different things work in different people's hands. What matters is that you stay consistent. The other side of this is in the chair. If you haven't been to a dentist in years, or you've got risk factors like smoking, out of control diabetes, or family history of gum disease, you probably need a regular exam and cleaning before any cosmetic work is even considered. So once that foundation is solid, that's actually where cosmetic dentistry starts. And it starts with how your teeth are shaped. There's an easy way to tell whether this step is even for you. You'll look and feel great if you whiten your teeth and just take care of your gums. But if you're still not happy after that, the next thing I'd look at is the shape and proportion of your teeth. A lot of people don't care about this at all, which is completely fine. I see patients every day who I think have shape and proportion issues, and they aren't bothered in the slightest. But if you do care, if something looks off and you just can't put your finger on what it is, that's a sign that this matters to you. And it shows up in a lot of ways. Some people feel their teeth are too big for their face, some too small, too long, too wide, too boxy, and sometimes they can't even name it. They just know something isn't right. But when the shape and proportions are genuinely off, the fix is usually veneers. But how far can we go with veneers alone? Depends on the next two things, your gums and your alignment. This is something almost nobody has heard of. And honestly, most dentists never bring it up either. It's very rare for a patient to walk in and tell me they've got a gum level issue. I'm usually the first person to point it out. And when I was a younger dentist, It took me a long time, lots of photos, and a lot of studying the biology and aesthetics of it before I could even diagnose it, honestly, let alone treat it. So if you've never once thought about your gums when you think about your smile, that's completely normal. Here's what to look for in the mirror. If you smile and show a lot of gum, there's a few different reasons. The first one is that you might simply have more gum tissue than you need, and we can do a gum lift to fix that. The second is that you might be showing a lot of gum because your teeth have worn down and they're short and nubby. So it looks like you have extra gums when really you've got a wear problem we need to get to the bottom of. And most people who've worn their teeth down remember a time they weren't like that, so deep down, they usually already know. And the third is that you might have a lip that lifts up too high when you smile, and that's a conversation about the lip itself. None of these are things you can fix at home. Most are handled in the chair, a gum lift, veneers or crowns for the wear, and sometimes we'll do a little Botox so we can help with the lip. So gums and shape of teeth are very much connected. And so is this next one, because where your teeth actually sit decides how much this is even possible. So let's talk about the alignment of your teeth. It's basically the same logic as the gums. If your position and alignment are off by a little bit, we can usually handle it with veneers alone. If they're off by a lot, we probably need Invisalign first to get the teeth into a position where veneers can finish the job. I've been pushing harder and harder with Invisalign over the last few years, and I'm genuinely impressed by how far it goes when a patient actually is consistent with it. But here's the thing you need to watch out for. A lot of people get Invisalign, think it's gonna fix everything. They go straight to an orthodontist, and the orthodontist says, yeah, sure, we'll move your teeth. And at the end, the patient's still not happy. Can you close this gap? Can you fix this? The problem is there's only so much you can do by moving teeth around. If the size and proportions are off, moving teeth won't fix that. Invisalign is usually one step of the treatment, not the whole treatment. And that's one of the most common ways people end up frustrated. Nobody defined the full problem at the start. So once you're at this point, you've left the part you can sort out on your own. The rest of it's on your dentist. Quick thing before we move on, if you're in the San Antonio or New Braunfels area and you want me to look at your smile in person, we offer a complimentary consultation. No charge, no pressure, just an honest conversation about where you're at and what's actually possible. And remember, you don't have to show up with the answers. That's the whole point of what I do. You just have to show up. The link's in the description. All right, back to the list. This one is the hardest decision you'll have to make. Are your teeth worth fixing, or are they too far gone? There's a rough way to figure this out. Are you missing 5 or more teeth? If you are, the odds are your problems are pretty serious. Veneers and Invisalign, all that kind of stuff, might still be on the table, but at that point, we really have to look at everything. And then there's the harder version of this. Let's say someone comes in with problems everywhere. Cavities, infections, the works. Yeah, we can fix all of it, but it's gonna take orthodontics, grafting, surgeries, implants, restorations. Basically, every tooth's gonna have to be treated. When fixing everything costs more than starting over, that's a conversation we at least need to have. And I'm not saying it all has to come out. I'm saying just we have to put the options on the table, and honestly, you decide. Going all in trying to save what you have, or take it all out and go the implant route. Most people in this spot start leaning toward implants because it's a little bit more guaranteed solution instead of pouring more time and money into saving something that's already been broken for a long time. And this right here is exactly what I told you at the start. You don't need the answer walking in. A decision like this one, you should never have to guess at. You just need the right questions and someone honest on the other side of them. So that's the decision. And the best way to actually make it is with an exam and a mock-up. This is the step that protects you from every mistake we just talked about. And it's also the one that gets rushed the most. You can't diagnose any of this over the phone. You can't diagnose it from a photo. I see how fast people want this stuff to move now. They want the answers over text. And my honest reaction is, slow your roll. This is an in-person service. We do a real exam, we define the actual problems, and we figure out what will genuinely fix them. And that's the exam. And after that comes the mock-up. And this is the part that changes everything for a patient. Before we touch a single tooth, we show you the result. Sometimes that's digitally placing the new teeth onto a photo of your smile. And sometimes we put temporary material right on your teeth and just flowable composite. Or we have the lab build something that sits over the top so you can see it in your own mouth. It's a game changer for helping someone actually picture what's possible. And why does it matter so much? It matters for you and for me. It tells me I'm building exactly what you want. And it shows you I understand it before anything's permanent. A dentist who skips this step is flying blind on prep day. And that's how you over-prepare a tooth or make a mistake you can't take back. I had a patient who just wanted to see what was possible. So we did a mock-up, photographed it, and I showed it to them. And that's how they understood why we needed to do 8 veneers. They loved how it looked, and so we did it. That's the whole point. You see your smile before it's real, not after. So that's the whole stack. Color, hygiene, shapes, gums, alignment, veneers versus implants, and the exam and mock-up that protects you from getting any of it wrong. And like I said at the start, you don't have to walk in knowing the answers. You just have to walk in knowing the right questions. Now you do. If you want to go deeper on exactly how veneers work, what the process actually looks like, and whether you're even a candidate, click this video right here. I walk you through everything you need to know about veneers, the same step-by-step way we just did this one. I'll see you there.